Where is the real estate community?
Whenever you have some bad characters, things change. Regulations come in place. When you're doing people wrong, welcome to Behind the Bricks. I am your host, Rachel L. Gary. And today I have the pleasure of bringing the owner of Lux Life Realty, Lux Life Construction, a title agent, a money lender known for chasing deals in heels. Without further ado, the rock star, Yolanda Jeffries. Welcome to the show, Yolanda. Did I miss anything?
No, let me see. You didn't say international real estate babe, right? That help individuals to invest overseas. I think that was probably the only thing that you might have missed. But outside of that, and development, I do help with development, residential or commercial side of things as well. So but other than that, no, you got it. I think you did good.
All right, so I say this. Now, that just tells you that list got longer, guys. So you guys you better get with her before she actually gets out there and take it over the world, and she's now such a hot commodity that you guys can't even get in. So get in on the ground level so you can be already part of her elite clientele. So Yolanda, tell us a little bit about you and about what made you decide to start your own brokerage and venture out into the world of real estate, not without the cover of actual already established brokerage.
Right. Now, here's the thing. Most individuals will say, oh my God, if I talked to Yolanda last year, well, before last year, because I launched my brokerage last year in August, most individuals say, oh my God, Yolanda would have never, ever envisioned breaking out from a big brokerage. Like, what made Yolanda leave the parent companies and start her own parent company, right? And that really centered on really wanting to be there for both my agents as well as my clients. I currently have always operated under the Yolanda Jeffries team, right? So I had a team. So it was like I was a little mini company under the brokerages that I work for. And I work for Remax, Berkshire Hathaway, Coldwell Banker, Keller Williams, Baird Warner, right? I work for those companies, a lot of the largest companies, right? And I did that because it was not that I just wanted to work for those companies and jump, brokerage to brokerage. It was more so because I was analyzing, I was understanding, I was researching, I was trying to understand what is it that's making these big brokerages so great? What is it that they're truly offering to their agents? I'm an agent working under there. What are they offering me? How am I growing? How am I becoming better at what I need to do, which is real estate? And everybody knows she loves chasing deals and hills, right? So I do everything real estate. And one of the things that I saw throughout my journey at each brokerage that I work with is that everyone would tell you need to stay in your own lane. Like, hey, Rachel, you're a new agent. Yeah, if you're going to become a new agent, stay in your residential lane. Just be a residential agent and that's it. If you want to do luxury, leave that for the luxury agents. If you want to do commercial, leave that for the commercial agents. If you want to do development, leave that for, the construction side of things. Just stay in your lane. And here I am. Everybody knows Yolanda doesn't stay in her lane. She creates lanes, okay? She's a lane creator. And so here I am. I'm like, okay, well, that's very different. And like I said, one of the brokerages that I worked for was Berkshire Hathaway. And one of the leaders of Berkshire Hathaway is who I like to mentor, right, from a distance, under Mr. Warren Buffett. And if you look at Warren Buffett in real estate, he's a mogul, right? He owns the real estate company. He owns the lending company, the mortgage company. He owns the title company. He owns the insurance company. He owns a lot of the developments out here. So I started saying, why is it that the big brokerages is telling me to stay in my own lane, yet their leader is operating in all these different capacities? And when you get into real estate is not just a one lane focus. You have to be willing to, learn and develop in different capacities, right? And so that's exactly why I ventured off, right, to do that. It's because I'm sorry, Yolanda cannot be put into a box, and you cannot tell me, hey, you need to stay in this one box. If I see that there's opportunities over here, because as we know, as an agent, right, you can have a deal, but if you put all your eggs into that one deal and that deal doesn't close, guess what happens to you? You do not get a check at the end of the day. So if you always want to be closing, and what I like to say, ABC, always be closing, then you need to make sure that you understand every aspect of real estate so that you can go after it and you can help your clients to build wealth for themselves. So that's the reason why I got into real estate.
Okay. So I want to expound a little bit on something Yolanda said when she was talking about team Yolanda J. Speaking of that, I used to be a member of Team Yolanda J.
You were. Yes, you were.
And what I would say is that what made me gravitate towards Yolanda was her go-get-it attitude, as well as her wanting to help others be successful. Now, for people who are new to Behind the Bricks, I'm about success. And I'm about making sure that you put things in your path that are going to allow you to be successful. I went to one of Yolanda's meetups 2 years ago. No, probably 3 years now. Good God, Yolanda.
Wow.
Time is flying for us.
I know.
And she had a meetup when I first decided I was going to start investing in multi-unit real estate, because I owned a house, I owned a condo, but I didn't own multi-unit real estate.
Right.
And Yolanda made a statement in that meeting about mixed-use buildings. Now, I want to say this: it's all about what you know and what you learn and what you do with what you know. Mm-hmm. And after that meeting, I said, I got to know Yolanda. So I reached out to her just to learn more about the mixed-use buildings. And I'm going to say, guys, it was the transformational conversation. Because not only did we talk about mixed-use buildings, we talked about how Yolanda actually became an agent in the first place. Mm-hmm. Now, during that time, I was working a 9 to 5. Well, we'll say more like a 17-hour shift. And I was in leadership. And Yolanda was explaining to me about how her plan to go from her corporate life into real estate.
Right.
And I'll say this: I took a lot of her pointers, and currently, as you guys already know, I have left my 9 to 5 and started my own business. And a lot of that came from many conversations Yolanda and I had. I didn't take her first piece of advice that I should have, but at the end of the day, the whole purpose was to be able to work for yourself in a way and help other people at the same time. Exactly. And that is what I have to say. I salute Yolanda for, because every time that we're talking, everything that she states she's doing is not about Yolanda making more money. It's about Yolanda helping others get on their feet, achieve a goal, build themselves up, and them actually making money. And that's a little bit about why, I mean, as I said, she didn't say that. She's being a little more humble here, but that's a lot of the behind the scenes that she helps a lot of people with just having those normal everyday conversations.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about that international, Yolanda, because even though I didn't say it, I did have my question about, so what's going on in Dubai, Yolanda? Because I know I saw international Yolanda in Dubai. So, so tell us a little bit about what made you go from just national to being international, and what drew you to Dubai of all places?
Yes. Okay. Absolutely. So the reason why I went international is because real estate is everywhere. Real estate is not just you get up and you look outside and it's right before you, right? It's not just in that one city, town, state, right? It's not in that, right? Real estate is everywhere. Is everywhere throughout the world. So one of the things, especially with Lux Life, is with Lux Life, we like to be about that Lux Life, right? And I do have a lot of clients that like to invest, and I help to encourage individuals to invest domestically here, right, in different states, because I am licensed in 3 states: Illinois, Indiana, and Georgia, right? So I can help in those 3 states plus any state wherever I can help. But at the same time, too, there's a lot of global opportunities in different countries, because those countries do not operate like what we're going through over here. We got 7-8% interest rates. Do you guys know over in Dubai, they don't use loans? Have you guys heard of the term seller financing, owner financing? Yes, I'm sure you have, especially if you're from that off-market world, which Rachel is from, right?
Absolutely.
Those creative strategies is what a lot of the global countries use, right? They do a lot with owner financing. And over in Dubai, we're talking 300 to, like, I'm working with 3 different developers working on luxury condos from $300,000 all the way up to the millions, right? Over $1 million, 3 million plus, right? With the condos. But here's the thing, you can invest in those condos without having to take out a loan, because everything that they do over there is paper driven, right? They're selling these condos off the paper. You're paying for the condos off of a piece of paper. You don't necessarily have to go and get in debt, right? With the lender paying all this high interest rate, you can actually use your cash and float that cash around, depending on the time frame, to get into something like a Dubai condo, which is one of the most toured destinations that most people like to go. Like me, I will be there for Labor Day weekend. So
I didn't get an invite.
Nah, that's okay. Next time you'll be able to go. But here's the thing. Why would you want to invest in Dubai? Everybody wants to go to Dubai. Everybody has that as a part of their bucket list. Absolutely. So it's like, okay, well, if individuals want to go to Dubai, everybody knows she likes to chase deals and heels, and you go where the money goes, right? So if you have a lot of tourists going to that area and flocking into those areas, and you have investors that's looking for opportunities, why not get involved in that area? And that's the reason why I'm there. I'm there not only to help them to get these 3 different developments going and sold right off the plans, but at the same time to help my clients, my individuals in my sphere, my circle, to be able to invest more strategically. Because again, we got to stop throwing our money away to the banks. You got to start making your money work for you. It needs to start growing in a capacity that's really going to benefit you. And why not do that overseas when you don't have to pay any interest rates on that?
Absolutely.
And you don't have to do it by yourself. And I tell everybody, when you do international investing, don't do it by yourself. I help my investors to do it by using crowdfunding.
Awesome. Now, crowdfunding, hey, she's throwing those terms out there that I want to make sure that we actually define, because on this channel, we want to make sure that people understand what's going on. That's the reason why I put Behind the Bricks together, to help us understand how finances work, how real estate investments work, and how working with the knowledge you hear it all, you've heard it on TVs for years. You can buy property with no money down, but no one believes it because no one understands how it's done. Right now, we're talking to someone who's giving you fiscal information that is helping you be able to understand how you do it. Now, I talk when I have my solo time, where I talk a little bit about owner financing, wholesaling, and things that I've done in the past. However, we want to talk to somebody that is going to dig a little deeper. Crowdfunding, what is it and how we get involved?
Exactly. Crowdfunding is very similar to what I just said, a crowd that funds together. You want to be able to get with some individuals, like-minded individuals that have money, right, to invest in. It's like a pool, almost like a lottery pool. You know how people go around and they like, oh, we want to bid on the lottery, and you could go around and put your $5 and $10 in just to try to win the Powerball. Okay, if you could do it for the Powerball and crowdfund that way, why not do it for something that's really going to help you make money? At least your chances of winning, right, and having a huge return is greater in real estate than it would be for a Powerball that you crowdfund for. So I'm just showing you how to crowdfund a different way.
Oh, absolutely. Love the analogy. So developing. Now, even though I know it's newer for everyone out there, that we're talking about developing, and in the Chicago area, I know that currently there are a lot of developers who are getting funding from the city, because the city has a development plan currently. Yes. And that's for people who don't know. I live in the city of Chicago, and as you heard from Yolanda, she does Chicago, Atlanta, Indiana. That's where she's licensed, but she can help you anywhere. But I know that Chicago has an initiative for developing. So as I said, I have to get a little deeper. So why not develop here in Chicagoland, and why just Dubai? And I know we said interest rates, but go ahead.
Well, remember I said in Dubai, you want to invest, not develop. You want to invest.
Right.
Over here, you do want to develop because there's more land and more opportunity to be able to do so. The inventory is very short and constricted here, right, in Chicago, and there's a need for more housing. There's a need for people to have a place. Right now, we have a bunch of sellers that have inventory, and they're like, I don't know if I really want to sell my granny's home, or I don't know if I want to sell my home because I'm so scared about what's happening in the market and with all this inflation. So I might just need to stay put for a while, right? With everything that's happening, right, with the government and things like that, it has a lot of people in influx, like they just don't know what to do. But this is the best time to go out and start finding some land to develop, because here's the thing: you have, the traditional homes, you have the traditional sale where you go out, like Rachel, you went out, you found you a building, a 2-flat, you purchased that. That's a traditional, right? That's a pre-existing property that you went and you renovated so that you can make some money off of it, right? But because you went that route, you was capped at whatever that third party appraisal said. That's all you get off of it. And even if you put those updates into it and you go and you sell it to another buyer, right? You're gonna get only what that third party appraiser is will tell you. This is how much your building is worth. Well, here's the thing: what if I told you, well, guess what, Rachel, right down the street, there's a lot and you could build you a nice 2-flat yourself. And I know right now your ARV is probably $450,000, but if you wanted to get $700,000 for your building, right? And if it's some buyers that's willing to do it, if you put that in there and you really wanted that, you can do that without using the bank, right? You can set your own comps. When you become the bank, when you start being the owner of the property that's giving out these notes to these new buyers, stop allowing a third party to come in and tell you what you're worth.
Love that.
Do you know your worth, right? If you
absolutely,
as a person, you should know your worth as a property investor, right? You should know exactly how much your property is worth. And how you know that is determined based off of a buyer and not an appraiser, okay? But that's only when you use creative strategies to get to that point. So when I say development, yes, you should get into development, because development is where you set the comps, you create the comps, and you get what you need to get for yourself, as well as that buyer gets exactly what they need to get for themselves. So you create opportunities when you do that.
Absolutely. So as you heard, now for developing, as you were hearing, she said creative financing. And creative financing, and I want to state a little bit about creative financing, just a little. Creative financing is how the planet used to do real estate.
No, it's how we still do real estate.
Well, I'll say this: how it started. We'll go that way. We'll go that way a little better. Before the banks were even included, because if you remember, land deeds were how people decided, even in royalty, and that's how they gave land away. They gave someone a note, and that land belonged to them. And when they wanted to barter with a storekeeper or anybody, they gave them a piece of a note off of the land they owned. They gave them a corner of land, and that's how they bartered in the ancient time. Now, and that's how they used to barter. And now we still have those same, and it's creative finance, because at this point, people are used to the new financing of a bank being involved, a bank giving you the money. And I want to say this, and this is going to be controversial. There's no money exchanging anybody's hands. Money is fictitious. And I'm a little controversial with it, but money is fictitious. Because,
you're right.
Because at the end of the day, think about this. When you go sign your paperwork for a house, so when you buy anything, house, building, any kind of land, and you get a bank loan, when do you see some cash? Where do you see the cash? You don't see any cash. It's a wire transfer to another bank. There's no cash that ever exchanges hands.
Unless you get a little cash at closing.
Yeah, you get a little cash.
You know how they want to make you feel good and give you a couple thousand, make you think money transfer was good.
Yeah, but money itself is just fictitious. But at the end of the day, these creative finance strategies will allow you to get, as Yolanda said, more bang for your buck. And as I said, that's why we're bringing experts here to give you expert advice, because I have some knowledge. I've been in the game for some time. However, expertise allow you to have direct information that helps you be successful faster.
So, absolutely.
Now, my question is now. We were talking about the real estate side of things. Let's jump a little bit. Let's jump around a little bit to the Lux Life Construction. Yeah. Now, I'm gonna give Yolanda a new name today. So she also is chasing deals and hills, and that's real estate. So what I said is I'm gonna give her a new name today for construction. She's slinging a hammer with glamour. That's what I'm giving her.
Hey, hammer with glamour. I like that.
I figured she would. I was going to send it to her months ago.
I like it.
But I said, since we're going to be on the show, I talked to her about it. Because what I'll say, when we talk about Lux Life, it's not just about having the finest. It's having luxury. It's feeling VIP. It's being treated like you are a person, not a number and not a dollar sign.
Absolutely.
So so I want Yolanda to dive into construction. What made her get into it, and how is the slinging a hammer with glamour going? And I should have the pictures. I'm gonna have my VA put some pictures up here of when Yolanda out there slinging her hammer.
I know, right? I did sling the hammer too.
Yes, ma'am.
No. So the reason why I entered the construction area, Lux Life Construction, is because of my clients. Everything that I do, it stems from helping someone. You said it, Rachel. That's exactly why I do real estate. Fuels my purpose, and my purpose is my passion for helping others to build wealth using real estate as an investment vehicle. So whatever I can do to help, if it's an agent, if it's a client of mine, right, someone that I know, to do something in real estate, because I love cheering people on when they invest, when they, start getting involved in real estate. I just love it because it's a great thing. And it's not a lot of us that's out there trying to really understand how to navigate in the real estate streets. So I enter construction because of my clients. I realized as an agent, because I started out, just so you guys know, and I know we kind of jumped in everything, but yes, I am Yolanda Jeffries, manager, broker, owner of Lux Life Realty, as well as Lux Life Construction. And I got into that because my clients, as an agent, when I started out as an agent, I would have clients that will get approved for 2 or 3K loans. And you have these GCs that come out here and they'll be like, oh yeah, 2 flat is gonna cost $275,000 to renovate. They just coming out here throwing numbers out of their heads. $275 to renovate. And then you have the 203K consultant that's like, yeah, because my number is $330,000 to renovate it. You're like, man, so if the 203K consultant saying $330,000 and the GC saying $275, maybe it does cost that amount to do. I mean, maybe it is that amount, $235,000, right? But then you do have, you have these individuals with those high estimates. They go and they get these loans, and you have these GCs making all this extra money, and you have these people paying the higher, because once you get a 203K loan, you pay a higher interest rate, right? Because you're paying for not only the purchase price, but the renovation too. And they're going to capitalize off that money that you're looking to acquire right now. They're not going to wait until you're done with the renovations. They want that interest now. Right? It's just like that. I want my money and I want it now. That's what the bank wants. They want that interest now. So you just think about it. You have a person purchasing a property for $200,000, renovations at $275,000. You're at $475,000 already, and you haven't even finished the project, right? That you're paying, that you will pay interest on. Yes, they may tell you, oh, you get a couple months. We give you like 3 months, 6 months, no payments that you don't have to do, but it doesn't matter, because once that stuff run out, because they've already factored it in your closing costs, once that runs out, you still have to pay that interest. And you have these individuals taking out these high loans, 2 or 3K loans, and these GCs that was just over capitalizing on these individuals. And it's like, wow, this is just ridiculous, because a lot of those individuals, sometimes at the end of the day, if the GC receives so much money from it and they know they don't really need it, they was leaving them high and dry. They didn't want to go through the whole FHA process. They was just leaving them. And you have a lot of clients that's like, what am I going to do? I have this loan. I got to pay on it. The GC just left me. I got to go find someone else. It became a hassle. And that's on the higher end, because you also have individuals that go and they get a GC that's referred to them that says, yeah, I know how to deal with the 203K. And they forget that 203K is based off draws, which means you as the GC, they're going to give you that material up front, but that labor stuff will come at the end once they see you get done with the project, which means you as a GC have to float yourself. And if you didn't do your budget right and you didn't set those numbers right, you 9 times out of 10 undercut yourself with that buyer, right? That new purchaser. You undercut yourself, and guess what happens in those situations? Those GCs leave those buyers by themselves. So now the buyer has a property that was underbidded, severely underbidded, that they now have a loan for, and now they're trying to go find some people to do the work, and don't nobody want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. Because they're like, oh no, I don't even want to deal with 203K, or I don't want to have to come behind someone and do this work that they stopped. I don't want to do it. And it's just a hassle. So for me, because again, I see both sides of the table, it was like, I don't think this is right. So let me go and get my GC license so that I can help these clients of mine do it right. So all clients who want to go through the process and want to make sure that they have someone on this side that's going to help them and make sure that when those contractors come through with a bid, you're going to have a bulldog over here that's going to undershoot whatever it is that they're trying to do. You're going to prove those numbers to me so that my clients can understand this is exactly what you're going to be up against, right? So that's the reason why I got into construction. It's all because of my clients. I saw that the GCs was taking advantage of them, and I couldn't take it. I got a strong humanitarian spirit, and I had to be able to step in to give back.
So I'm going to tell you all a little story that I heard about Yolanda. She doesn't know I heard it, so I'm glad she said what she said. So my current GC, I'm not going to put them out there at this point, but my current GC has bidded on some projects that Yolanda had. Now, I'm going to say what happened. She set him straight.
Yeah.
And setting him straight was prove those numbers. We'll use drywall, for instance. Why is the drywall $40,000 when a sheet of drywall is this? She went and got a calculator on my GC, got a calculator out and calculated the walls. And this is right when she had first became a general contractor herself. Now she didn't even know about the story ahead of time, because I keep a tight circle of people that help me be successful, and I can help them be successful. That is why me and Yolanda connected, because I'm all about helping and working with people that help others. To me, if we're not all winning, no one's winning.
No one wins.
So I surround myself with those type of people, because I'm a positive person that wants to keep positively flowing. And the only way that happens is if I stay around positive people. So I've called Yolanda when she's on her way to the gym. All right, let's go. You go ahead and take that smoothie and go on and get to the gym.
I didn't get my smoothies out.
Right. She was looking for a smoothie king. But at the end of the day, those are the type of people you want to talk to. You want to talk to the people that encourage you in a positive way to move forward.
Right.
And when my GC was telling me about it, I said, so did you give her that right bid? He said, I got the right bid. He said, she was not factoring in. I said, okay, yeah. How much lower did she get you? Because I know she got you to that real price and not that inflated price. And what ends up happening is that he was higher by $10,000+. And she got that knocked off for her client. And her client actually, so at that time she sold the property, so how about this? I want to say this, and hey, I'm an advocate for everyone. Everyone's doing the right thing. She was the buying agent for that transaction. She had nothing to do with the renovation. She was going to be paid no matter what. The property was already selling. So now she could have washed her hands at that point and let the GC take advantage, because she wasn't part of that transaction. But because she wanted to make sure that the buyer was not swindled, she stepped in and brought that calculator out. So that's what I'm saying about having those good people in your corner. And my GC is a great guy. You guys are going to see videos of him out here in a little while, but he's a great guy. But he overestimated, because he came out there in his head with what the numbers are when he does those type of buildings, as opposed to taking the square footage and multiplying it correctly to give correct numbers. And Yolanda held him accountable. And exactly. Those are the people you want in your corner, people that hold themselves to a high standard and everyone else around them to that standard. So
absolutely, and that's what it's about, and that's why, AKA Yolanda J, don't play.
I'm gonna tell you, when I was on her team, she was cracking the whip. We were all on a group text. We were all on a group text. Hey, are you gonna be at the open house? Do you have, how many houses you got? Rachel, I don't see your houses on here. Yolanda, here they go. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, she was trying to help clients. And our job was to make sure we provided those clients with what they needed. And I have no problem with helping people be successful. So now I got a controversial topic I gotta ask about, because the NAR class action lawsuit. Yolanda J was at the courtroom. Can you expound on what the heck is the lawsuit about? And
absolutely.
And how is it helping the homeowner or hurting the homeowners? If you could just expound a little bit on it, just so we have a little more clarity.
Yeah, so what I'm gonna say is, before I went down and went to the lawsuit, my perspective, before I went, I was just like, wow, what is this lawsuit? The buyers, the sellers want to sue the, National Association of Realtors and the big brokerages, and they're suing all the companies I work for, Keller Williams, Coldwell Banker, Berkshire Hathaway, right? They're suing them. So I want to know, especially since I'm starting my own brokerage, like, what is going on? What's coming down the pipeline? Because just so you guys know, I'm an analyst by nature, and I told you guys I study market, and that's a part of the market, and that's a market impact, right? A hit to the market. So I flew down to Kansas City, Missouri, sat in the courtroom. I walked up in the courtroom like, okay, you got realtor, managing broker, owner Yolanda J here. Yes, I'm a realtor. That's me. I'm a broker. That's me. And I'm looking around like, there's not one realtor here. There's not one managing broker here. Ooh. Where's all the agents? Where's all the association leaders, like the car presidents and the NAR presidents? Where's those people at? Where is the real estate community? The only people that was in that courtroom was attorneys, the media, TV media, and the people that was a part of the lawsuit, right? The companies and, the people that was a part of the lawsuit. And then you had little old me that they thought, I guess the way I walked in, they like, she gotta be an attorney. She's an attorney. And she's sitting over there on the NAR side, so she must be a NAR attorney. So they thought I was an attorney, but I'm like, no, I'm a part of the people who's being sued, the agents, right? But sitting in that courtroom, what the NAR lawsuit was about, you had a bunch of sellers that a lot of agents have been advised, and I was one of them, right? We go through trainings through our big brokerages. They tell us how to handle a listing. They tell us how to work with these clients, right? We get trained on how to do our jobs. That's what you do. You go through, classes, and you got the state license in law, but to actually get a deal done, when you go to your brokerage, they tell you, go to your brokerage. Your broker will show you how to get a deal done. So we received the training on how to be a listing agent and what to do when you go out and get a listing. So as a listing agent, most agents go out, and if they do a listing, they're like, okay, well, I'm going to do this listing. I'm going to take your house and convert it to some money. And for this money that I'm going to convert it into for you, say if it's $300,000, the commission on here, because we like a percentage, because whether the price goes up or down, it doesn't matter if you use a percent, it makes sense, right? And the percentage that we're going to use, which is very standard, 6%. And just so you know, that commission that we're using, that 6% is really there because there's another agent. I'm on the sales side, but there's another agent, a buyer agent, that's going to bring a buyer to this transaction to help you get your house sold. They're going to help you sell this house. And what we do, because I have this listing agreement with you, the commission at the 6%, I'm going to split it with them, right? So I'm going to keep one side of it half, and they're going to keep the other side. So you essentially is paying for me to represent you, but you're also paying for that buyer agent to bring a buyer for you, right? Because they're going to help to entice their buyer to purchase your property. Well, what happened was you had the buyer and the seller. Because of COVID, a lot of stuff was happening. But then after COVID, people started getting back into the table. So you had a buyer and a seller sitting at the table like, hey, I'm looking at the HUD settlement statement. And on here, I'm looking at the statement and say, seller side, buyer side, right? And over here on the seller side, I have the commission twice. The buyer over here looking like, why is it that RE/MAX agent was my agent? Shouldn't that commission be over here on my side? And the seller like, you're right, because I had Berkshire represent me, but I got Berkshire and RE/MAX over here on this side. Why is that? so you're paying for my agent? I mean, I guess that's okay for you to pay for my agent, but I mean, I would pay for my own agent, but I just didn't know that you were paying for my agent. The seller goes back and say, that's true. Why am I paying for another agent who, as I think about it, buyer, I wanted $400,000 for my house, and you guys sent me an offer for $375,000. So why on earth would I be paying for your buyer agent to undercut me? You guys gave me less than what I want, but I paid for somebody to work against me. That's what the lawsuit is about. It's because the buyers and the sellers was angry, right? So you have the seller who was angry that they were paying for another agent who didn't represent them. And their whole thing is, I only want to pay for an agent that works for me, period. I don't want to pay for them. So that extra 3%, you making me pay for them? I don't want to pay that. You just do your job to sell my house. Let them figure out what they need to do. And then you have the buyers, because here's the thing. The sellers were saying, I'm paying for it, but just really think about it. Do the sellers bring any money to the table?
Who
brings money to the table?
The bank.
The buyer. Right? The buyer's bank, right? So the buyer really is taking out the loan to pay for how many agents? So while the seller thought that they was paying for the buyer agent, the buyer realized, why are you talking? I just realized I'm the one that brings the money to the table, and I'm the one that's paying for your agent. So now I'm mad. That's why we got the big lawsuit that's starting in Illinois, right? We got all these lawsuits swindling with the sellers lawsuits and then the buyers lawsuit, because they're now saying we both was paying for agents that we should not pay for. And really, truly, essentially what should have happened and what NAR and these big brokerages should have done. But it's just a money play. Everything is a money play. All they had to do was tell us, Yolanda, when you on the sell side and you working with a seller, you negotiate that commission directly with your seller. That is your client. You only work for your client. So if you do 6%, 3%, 1%, no percent, wholesale, whatever you want to do, that's between you and your client, right? You should not be trying to encourage or entice your client to pay for someone else on the other side, right? But they didn't tell us to do that, because you know why they didn't tell us to do that? Because of the Brother Code of Real Estate. The Brother Code of Real Estate is this. Shh. Rachel, when you're on the seller side, okay, you set the commission. Because remember, back in the days when we got slapped with the Sherman Act of the antitrust law, right? When they came for us back then, it was 1863, whatever that year, 1913, whatever that year was. When they came for us and told us to stop operating as a monopoly as one, and we had to disband, we came together as the brothers. We got a brother code. So even though the government told us to disband, we went behind the scenes, created an association so we can get back together. And when we got back together with the association, we said, listen, agents on the seller side, you're going to set the commission for both sides. When you do 50-50, that's when you add 50-50 together, that means what? One, right? So even though that seller side is setting that commission, they split it 50-50, you still get that one, as if you're operating as a monopoly, right? And so when that one side set the commission, everyone was trained with the brother code to shh. When that seller's agent set the commission, you on the buyer side, whatever they give you, you just shut up and take it. Because guess what? Your time is gonna come. You will have your turn. When you go out there and you get a listing, you can do whatever you can
do the same thing.
You can do the same thing, but you need to shut up. Because if you do anything differently, you're gonna mess up how we all make money. And this is how we make money together. But what started happening is the seller side will go and do, say, a commission of like 6% or whatever, but then they'll say, okay, I'm gonna keep 5% and I'll pay out 1% to the buyer agent. So you got buyer agents like, well, I am not gonna be showing these properties for no 1%, which in reality, the buyer agent should have never, ever entertained anything from the seller side. They should have never allowed the seller agent to tell them, you're only gonna get 1% if you bring a buyer. Because that buyer agent should have negotiated with their own buyer to say, hey, Rachel, you're my client and I'm a professional, right? And if I'm going to take you out and show you some properties for $500,000, right? I'm going to get you a property worth $400,000 or $500,000, which, because I'm a good agent, if it's worth $400,000, it's really going to be worth $750,000. Okay, because I'm going to put you in a property that has some instant equity. So if I can find you a property that has instant equity and put, even if it was $100,000 in your pocket, you mean to tell me you couldn't pay me $20,000 in commission to get you to that $100,000? And most people would say, if you can get me to that 100 or that, what did you say, 400, but it's really 750 or extra 350, and all you want was 20 stacks, you can get it, Yolanda, right?
Now,
if buyer agents, you see that, like, take it. But if buyer agents would negotiate directly with their buyers, that's what they should have done. It's just like on the wholesale side of things. Think about it on the wholesale side. When we wholesale properties, is there commission involved?
No.
Does the seller pay for the other agent?
No.
Does the buyer pay for the buyer pay any commission?
Not that I know of.
No. The only thing that they paying for is a fee, and it's a fee to get in on this good deal. Right. So if you want to get in on the deal, you're gonna pay a fee, right? And usually, if you have an agent on the wholesale side on the buy side, that agent does what with that client that they're bringing a wholesale deal to? They negotiate
charge
what?
Them.
They charge them their commission.
They charge them.
So why is it that on the on-market side of things, which is supposed to be so regulated, so licensed and law focused, you're cutting corners and you're undercutting? And see, a lot of agents, and this is why, so let's go back to my take. So that's my take on our lawsuit, so you guys really understand. Hopefully that helps. But my take on it is, most people would say, is this a bad thing? Is this a bad thing for sellers and buyers? Absolutely not. This is a great thing for sellers, and it's a great thing for buyers too. And if you're on the sell side or the buy side, it's an amazing thing if you're an agent like me, because all you see is dollar signs going off everywhere. And if you're a wholesaler, hybrid agent, you're just like, listen, let's get it, right? Because while everybody crying over commission, we don't even talk commissions on the wholesale side. We don't even care about it.
I care. I'm gonna speak for somebody who wholesale. So I wholesale.
What do we care about?
A whole year. So I'm very transparent with my numbers. So the year I did wholesaling, I made $75,000 that year. It was my first year doing wholesale. I did 15 deals. They ranged from between $2,000 to $10,000. So, but the total was $75,000.
Good.
And what I did, as I said, I'm transparent. I found someone who was looking to sell their house. They had repairs, issues. They didn't want to deal with the realtor. They didn't want to put it on MLS. They just wanted to get rid of it as quick as possible. If I could get rid of their house in 30 days and get them cash, that's all they wanted to do. That was it.
That's it.
So when I signed my contract, I told them 30 days from now, I will get a buyer to buy it from you for cash. That was it. I was a middle person. I knew a lot of people who were investors like myself. Hey, I bought a couple of those properties. I have to be honest, I bought some of those properties myself because they were good deals. And and I had creative financing. But as a wholesale,
you do that. You're gonna either buy it or sign it.
Right, exactly. And that's what. And so there are some people. Well, there were issues where it became a new law in Illinois where you needed to be a licensed agent to become a wholesaler because of some scandalous
daisy chaining, a lot of daisy chaining, and a lot of people really not trying to help the seller in a situation. At the end of the day, really just like severely undercutting them, doing some bogus things to them, and they shouldn't have.
So whenever you have some bad characters, things change. Regulations come in place when you're doing people wrong. Now, I want to make a statement about when I was wholesaling. And when I was at this same meeting where I met Yolanda, there was a couple there that wanted to wholesale their property, wanted to sell it. There were wholesalers in the room. 50 wholesalers were like, oh yeah, I can do this, I can do that, I can do that. Yolanda may not even know this story. I don't know if I even told her. Do you know that I got that contract with that couple?
Which one?
The couple. So this is 3 years ago. There was a couple that was from downstate Illinois that had a property that they were trying to get rid of. So what I did was I did creative financing with them.
Okay.
They wanted, because they still wanted money, but they didn't know what to do. but the property needed a lot of work. So what I did was a seller financing. So seller financing means that they are the bank.
Yep.
If at any point I don't pay, they default on the loan, keep all the money I gave them, and get their house back.
Absolutely. That's why I love seller finance. But people don't understand that.
It's a win-win.
But you know why people don't understand it? It's because they're so trained with the traditional way that's been fed to them through media, what they see. Go get a bank loan because the lender is going to give you cash money right now today. You want $200,000 for your house, I'm gonna get you $200,000. But they don't understand with seller finance, and I can show you how to get paid 3 different times on it. You're gonna get that cash money up front, plus you're gonna get the interest over the time, plus you're gonna also get that balloon payment at the end. Absolutely. All you have to do is be patient. Patience is a virtue, and that's what people have to understand in real estate.
Absolutely. So that beautiful couple, I seller financed their house. They wanted $150,000. I gave them terms, exactly $150,000. 2 years, I gave them payments over 2 years, balloon payment on 3rd year. So what I end up doing for 2 years, for year 1, we put $30,000 into to fix it up, rented it out, because I had control of the property. I rented it out for the first year. Year 2, I spoke to a buyer who wanted it for a little bit more than what they were asking. I sold it to that buyer, got my money out of it, gave the couple the money that they wanted, and it was over. So I got paid twice on the deal.
Look at that.
And I said, creative strategies is all about how creative you are and how knowledgeable you are. And exactly. It was a win. I was about helping the couple because they wanted money, but they wanted out of the house. They couldn't afford the car. They couldn't afford the note anymore, and they wanted to move. I think they moved to Missouri or Kentucky. They wanted to move. They wanted to move away, but they were like, "I'm not gonna get enough money for the house." I said, "So how about you get money over time?"
There you go.
And, I mean, it was lucrative for them. I mean, I made a couple of $100 that first year, but that's a couple $100 I made when I only put $30,000 into it.
See.
So, and I'll say at the end, I got $35,000 out of it at the end, and they got all their interest money plus the $150 they were selling it for. So they got the interest, the $150,000 plus
and the upfront payment. So they got all of that. So they got more money for waiting 2 years than
what the bank would have given them right then and there. So
see, that's what I'm talking about. And that's why that's so important. And that's why most people need to understand that these off-market strategies are what's needed right now. The banks with the 7%, 8%, 10%, whatever they're trying to do. It's like, to who would you do? We need you? No. All we need is the person with the property and the buyer with the cash, right? That wants to be able to do something. And even if you don't have all the cash, that's fine, because the world is based off of notes anywhere. Everything, even cash is a note, okay? The $20 that you get is a note anyway, because you got to take that $20 and put it into the bank to convert it to something. So it doesn't matter.
So less than 20, let's put that out there.
You see what I'm saying? Like, if people would just understand that patience is a virtue in real estate, and that you will make more money. And that's why the banks do it. Understand. That's why banks are banks, because they understand. That's how everybody in the banking industry and the money industry understand that in order to make money, you have to be able to wait for it. Because money, everybody knows, money is not what you see right now today. What you see today is not going to be the same price tomorrow for what it was yesterday. Absolutely. It's just what you see today. And most people who make a lot of money, they understand that there's a time value associated with money. And really, if you just dumb it down for everybody in one little statement, patience is a virtue. Just remember that. And you'll make a ton of money in real estate.
So I got to keep the deal with Hills and the Hammer with Glamour moving, because right now she spent a whole hour with us. But with a great conversation, I got to ask her my parting questions. Yolanda, what is your goal for 1 year, 3 years, and 5 years?
Okay, so my first year goal was to grow my brokerage to at least 100 agents. And the 1 year anniversary comes up this August. 23rd of this year. Unfortunately, because I do so many different things, I was launching title agency, construction, all that other stuff. I didn't put a huge focus on recruiting. So I would say over the next year, I want to go back to focusing more so on the agents, especially in light of this NAR lawsuit and things like that, right? Because we'll have more clarity around really trying to strengthen agents in the community, right? Being able to help them to become more aware, more educated, because the more that they can become aware and educated, the more people they can go out and service. Because that's the problem. It's not a lot of advocates out here that's advocating the right way to help people to build wealth. So that's my 1 year. The 3-year goal, my 3-year goal is to be able to invite everybody to the tallest building here in Chicago to celebrate the fact that she will be Chicago's newest millionaire, okay? And I'm not talking the 1 millionaire, I'm talking about multiple digits, okay? So if you get an invite in 3 years to that, just know that that has happened. And then my, what'd you say, the 5-year goal?
Absolutely.
My 5-year goal is to ensure that all of the business legs of Lux Life, the Lux Life brand, has grown from where it is right now, that it becomes a household name that people recognize and they understand that off market is number one. And what we do traditionally is what we do traditionally for individuals, but we're there and we offer these this full range of services because of what we're trying to do for our clients. And we're not doing it just because we want to have our hands in everything to get paid off of everything. That's not the reason why I was there. Because if I wanted to do that and do that, I would charge way more or be making way more. That's not what the goal is. The goal is to be able to help the individuals who get into these situations on the construction side of things. The goal is to help the sellers and the buyers understand that in Illinois, right, on the seller side, you don't have to listen to when you go out and you purchase a property buyer, when you out there purchasing properties. And just because the seller has an attorney and they selected the title company, you don't have to use that. You, by law, can choose your own title company. You can save some money when you start bifurcating and running title, having your own title ran for yourself as a double check to what's going on the seller side. Because a lot of people is putting, again, that brother code, it goes everywhere in real estate, right? A lot of people is putting too much emphasis into one side, but that other side is not really looking out for your best interest. And you, when you're on your side, if I represent the buyers, oh, seller, you guys are pulling title, good, because there's an owner title policy that you guys need to do, and we got the lender's policy over here that's going to double check what you're doing. We're going to double check everything that you're pulling. So if there's a lien or something that you're not telling us about, guess what? Our title company over here is double checking you, because at the end of the day, when we purchase, it's going to be clean, and it's not going to be clean just based off what you say. It's going to be clean because we have approved it and we understand that it's good. So I would say in the next 5 years to continue to build out these businesses, because every business that I have, Lux Life Realty, Lux Life Construction, Lux Life Title Agency, Lux Life Capital Investments, right? The financing arm of the business, right? Commercial real estate and international. Being able to do that really helps the individuals well-roundedly in different aspects to be able to understand that when they get into a deal, that they have someone that knows everything about it, right? That knows how to understand the lingo, they understand how certain people are moving so that you can really ensure that you're getting the right deal for yourself. Okay, that's the bottom line.
Absolutely. And all 1, 3, and 5 are helping other individuals. Love that. So tell everybody how to get in touch with Yolanda J. And we will put her information in the show notes so you can be able to contact her with those show notes. But I want to put it out there so in case you get your pen and paper, get it on down so you can get that information.
All right. So you can follow me. I am on Instagram at Bossy Yolanda J on Instagram. You can follow me on Facebook under Managing Broker Owner Yolanda J. Also, you can follow Lux Life Realty. Lux Life Realty is on both Instagram as well as Facebook. You just Google Lux Life Realty, you'll see us. You can contact us by phone 773-830-3108. You can email me at yolandaj@thelux, Lux, Lux, liferealty.com with any questions or suggestions or anything that you need. You can do that as well.
Okay. So we're gonna let the deals and heels and we're gonna allow her to sling her hammer with glamour and get back to making it all happen. And I appreciate you, Yolanda, for taking an opportunity to talk with the viewers out there and letting them know that the things in realtor being in real estate isn't just about what you've heard on mainstream. There is much more out there that can help you be more successful in your journey as a homeowner and an investor or a developer. So make sure that you take an opportunity to reach out to Yolanda J in the international market, because it's not just about Chicago, Atlanta, Indiana, and the United States. It's about wherever you want to invest. Success is on the horizon. And until next week, I want you guys to be up, out, and moving to the greatness we all know lies within who? You.
Yes, I love it. Thank you so much, Rachel.